time for another episode of That Marketing Show. This is episode 6. I'm Matt Coffey. This is brought to you by the Coffee Group. I want to talk to you today about something that has been on my mind about some of the details I've had with dialogues I've had with customers, and really relevant to how the market's shaping up, especially 2013 when we're coming in. Now it's the springtime. It's just the beginning of March. We're coming up to a big building season. There's been obviously we've had hurricanes, we've had storm damage. There's a lot of building opportunities. The reason why I'm bringing up this sector because I think from a general standpoint, in starting a marketing campaign, especially if you think about it from the beginning of the year, it's thinking about how do you divide up the cookies, as I might say. How are you going to divide your marketing dollars? You budget something. We hope you have a budget for marketing. Or a strategy around your budget, and how are you going to divide that to go to the places where people are? So you want to take your marketing budget and put it in the places where people are buying. So right now, I brought up the building sector because we have some of our clients are involved in, remodeling and kitchens and windows and things that are just consumer-driven activities that are now starting to really populate. So the thought process has always been for me, fragmentation. Okay? Fragmentation of marketing is going on right now at a pace that's never been seen before. Think about what's going on every day. The reason why I like social media and how it can fit into someone's budget is because it sells stuff. Yes, that's right. It's not just about how much pizza I had last night and what was the latest YouTube video that was the craze of the day. No, the reality is LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, people are sharing information. They're finding out about another. Think about this. We're at a place now where there's scalability of speaking and talking to friends and friends that you've had from way before. And the connections that are being made and the information that's being passed along is such a greater scale than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you made a phone call, you said, hey, I like Joe the plumber. You know what? You should use him. Right now, you look at his Facebook page, he's got 75 fans, they're raving about him. Someone says, you know what, I need a plumber. They're like, oh, I just saw this guy on Facebook. I know him from a friend of a friend. He looks like he's a good guy, right? So there's a whole different set of connections. What I want to get into the thought process is going into Yoda was wrong. Now, what do I mean Yoda was wrong? Yoda used to say, there is no try, only do. I think that's completely backwards. I think there's only try. And I'll tell you why. Because you have to figure out where to market. You don't know right off the bat. It might be LinkedIn. It might be Facebook. It might be pay-per-click ads. It might be looking at analytics and finding out what SEO strategies work. There's a million tries now. But you have to synthesize this strategy and take your marketing dollars and look at the fragmentation of the market space and say, where do I think people might be? Well, if you're, let's say, a supply company, well, I would think you'd want to think where vendors are that would be able to support your cause. Right? So you might be able to go into a LinkedIn category of all the verticals of the supply chain that you have and go speak to people. There's people asking questions all the time. If it's something to do with a consumer durable guide that you need to get out to consumers, so in our case, we work with a lot of people who are involved in selling to the direct consumer arena. So we need to help them provide guidance into the consumer area. So that could be Facebook. That could be Twitter. So these fragmentation spots, you have to think about that. Now, getting into paid ads and getting into SEO, these are all pieces of fragmentation too. People spend time on YouTube. There's another fragmentation. How many people spend time looking at YouTube videos on a daily basis? How many people spend time on Facebook? So you have to think about all the fragmentation. Now, what this is leading to is content versus context. Okay? So now We understand fragmentation. There's a lot of places to market yourself and a lot of places where sales can happen. We understand that you want to try different aspects and you want to go back and see what's working. You want to measure what you get for the activity you preside. So now you think about your budget, you think about where the people are, you would make some attempts at working on each one of these categories, and now you want to look at content versus context. All right? The reason why there's a difference between these two terms is because content is the deliverable mechanism. So if you write a blog, you post a video, you put out a PDF diagram of how your product or service works, and you get it out into the fragmentation of the market, right? So you pick your spots, you try it out. The point is you want to have context with the individuals that you're working with. So especially if it's consumers, or even more, if we look at the aspect of trying to deliver a message, the context around this is the relationship. So that's the building of a relationship. So in Facebook, I'll give you an example. If you hear that someone's using someone else's services through Facebook, so let's say you're looking for someone to build your new house, and you put in just a quick comment to say, we bought this property, and we were thinking about getting an architect and a builder. Has anybody used anybody? Okay, so now you've got 300 people, or let's just say 100 people in your friends of yours. And now someone says, oh yeah, I recommend so-and-so and so-and-so. That is context, okay? So the context that you have as a relationship, you have context with somebody or something that relates to the content, all right? So now if you're thinking about this from a business perspective, how are you creating context with the audience? How are you creating the relationships? How are you managing the process of this fragmentation of our market, trying it out, and then creating context with either your consumer or your business downline people? Those are the things you have to think about when you think about your marketing dollars. Think about budgeting towards creating context with either your clients or your consumer downline. Anyways, this is That Marketing Show. We'll see you next time.